Good morning, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Richard N. back for your first video blog of the day for Wednesday, June 29th, 2016. Around 7:10 in the morning in Billerica, Massachusetts. It's raining out right now, but hopefully later on in the day it could get sunny. Some news to report: Boston Red Sox beat the Tampa Bay Rays by a score of 8-2. They're back on They ended their 3-game losing streak, so hopefully they win some games. The Lowell Spinners now are 10-2. LeBron James has rejected his player option for the Cleveland Cavaliers for the 2016-2017 season at $24 million. But he's staying in Cleveland. He's probably going to sign a max contract with Cleveland because of the new television contracts. And talks about a new contract between Dwayne Wade and the Miami Heat are stalling. There's a good possibility Dwayne Wade could leave the Heat, but I don't see that happen. I think they'll work it out because Dwayne Wade's Miami Heat player for life. And that's about it on news. My first video blog subject of the day is the continuation of the top 10 list of everything and anything. I've now reached the top 10 sports teams that I would love to see win a championship before I die. I was born in 1976. I'm close to 40 years old. And on this list are the top 10 teams that I would love to see, professional sports teams I would love to see win a championship before I pass away. Many of these teams were in existence, before I was born. They're still in existence now. Some of them never won championships. Some of them won championships before I was even born. And here they are. Number 10 on this list is our top 10 sports teams that I would love to see win a championship in my lifetime is the Buffalo Sabres. The Buffalo Sabres came into the National Hockey League in 1970. They made 2 Stanley Cup Finals, 1975 and 1999. They were kind of robbed of winning the Stanley Cup in 1999 because they had the number 1 goaltender, Dominik Hasek, who was dominating, and it was like an interference goal by Brett Hull, who won it for the Stars in 1999 against the Sabres. They blew the call. Who knows if that goal was rejected, if like the Sabres would have came back to win Game 6 and then Game 7. And the Sabres look like they're poised to be going back to the playoffs in the next few years. And who knows? Number 9 on this list of the top 10 sports teams that I would love to see win a championship in my lifetime is the Cleveland Indians. The last time the Cleveland Indians won a World Series was 1948, 28 years before I was born. They've been into a couple World Series since 1954, 1995, and 1997. They're currently leading the American League Central Division. They have a great team this year, but the fans are not coming out in droves to see the Indians. But we'll wait and see if they could be good this year. Make it to the World Series and win it. Number 8 on this list of the top 10 sports teams that I would love to see win a world championship before in my lifetime is the Texas Rangers. The Texas Rangers were formed in 1961 as the new Washington Senators. Then they moved to Texas in 1972. They were bad for many, many years, and then won many AL West championships. They came 1 pitch away from winning the World Series in 2011, and they looked like the team to beat in the American League West this year. Number 7 on this list of the top 10 sports teams that I would love to see win a world championship in my lifetime is the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals last won a world championship in 1947 when they were Chicago Cardinals. For years, the Cardinals were one of the worst teams in the NFL. But in recent years, they're becoming a good team. 2009 Super Bowl 42, they almost won it against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 6 on this list of the top 10 sports teams I would love to see win a world championship in my lifetime, the St. Louis Blues. The St. Louis Blues has been in existence since 1967. They've never been to a Stanley Cup final since 1970, and they've been to the Western Conference Finals many times since then. But this year they made it to the Western Conference Finals, but they got eliminated in 6 games, and they traded their number 1 goaltender, Brian Elliott, and it could be a while before they're back into contention for the Western Conference Finals. Number 5 on this list of the top 10 sports teams that I would love to see a world championship in my lifetime, the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings have been in existence since 1961. They made 4 Super Bowls. They actually won the NFL championship in 1969, but that was not a big deal because they had the Super Bowl that year and they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs, and they've been 3 other Super Bowls, but they have not won the big one. Last time they made the Super Bowl was 1977, but they have a good team right now. Teddy Bridgewater, Adrian Peterson, and running back, and they're moving into a new stadium, so there's promise that they could be a force in the NFC this year. Number 4 on this list of the top 10 sports teams that I would love to see win a world championship is the LA Clippers. The LA Clippers have been around since 1970 in the NBA. First is the Buffalo Braves and San Diego Clippers, then the LA Clippers. Clippers have good talent, Chris Paul and Blake Griffin and a few others. They have had a lot of success over the past few years, but they cannot win the big one. They always choke in the playoffs. They lost to the Houston Rockets 2015 NBA Western Conference semifinals after being up 3-1, and the Clippers clipped. But people are saying that the Clippers are on the downside, right, because Chris Paul's aging and Blake Griffin's injured frequently, but I'll still give them hope. Number 3 on this list of the greatest the sports teams that I would love to see win a world championship in my lifetime is the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns last won a world championship in 1964, the NFL championship, when they had Jim Brown as running back. But for years, the Browns have stunk it up big time, and I don't think this might happen anytime soon, but you gotta have hope and faith. Number 2 on this list of the top 10 sports teams that I would love to see win a world championship in my lifetime, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto Maple Leafs is the original 6 NHL team. They last won the Stanley Cup in 1967, and they haven't been to the Stanley Cup Finals ever since. And Maple Leafs have had a few close calls of making the Stanley Cup Finals: 1978, 1993, 1994, 1999, and 2002. They're going through a rebuilding process with young talent, and if they get Steven Stamkos, they could be Stanley Cup contenders within 2-3 years. Number 1 on this list of the top 10 sports teams that I would love to see win a world championship in my lifetime is the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs have not won the World Series in 1908, and they're having an awesome year this year. We'll wait and see if they could make it to the World Series. They haven't been to the World Series since 1945. That's about it on that. Be back later, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google Plus with 2 more video blogs. One will be about my take with vaccines, with having a link to autism, and a third and final video blog on night will be about the former NHL team, the Oakland/California Golden Seals. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Benning guy. Molly Wolfsblood of WCCO has nice legs. Elizabeth Hutt's also stunning. She's a breast. Amy Swensley's awesome. Barbara Gibbs of ABC 11 has sweet southern accents and got nice legs. And Linda Church is awesome. And in the words of Vince McMahon, WWE owner, you got no chance in hell by now.